Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. We begin with the release of the former governor of Delta State, Mr. James Ibori, from a London prison, seen by his legal team as victory against the British Home Office. The counsel to the British Home Office wanted Ibori to remain in detention after he had served his jail term. Let's take a listen to how that has turned out to be.
James Onanefe Ibori was governor of Delta State in Nigeria between 1999 and 2007 under the People's Democratic Party. Corruption charges started building against him with the filing of petitions by his kinsmen under the auspices of the Delta State Elders and Stakeholders Forum. In early August 2007, a UK court froze Ibori's assets valued at about £17 million. James Ibori also faced charges in Nigeria. On December 12, 2007, he was arrested by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) at the Kwara State Lodge in Asokoro, Abuja, on charges of alleged theft of public funds, abuse of office and money laundering. On December 17, 2009, a federal high court sitting in Asaba, Delta State, discharged and acquitted him. But in May 13, 2010, Ibori was arrested in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, under Interpol warrants issued from the United Kingdom and enacted by the Metropolitan Police. The ex-governor was granted bail pending an extradition hearing. 27th of February 2012, accused of stealing $250 million from the Nigerian public purse, Ibori pleaded guilty to 10 counts of money laundering and conspiracy to defraud at the Southwark Crown Court in London. He was sentenced to 13 years in prison by the same court on Tuesday, April the 17th, 2012. His release today on the orders of the UK court did not come easy, as lawyers to the British Home Office fought to detain him further. But the judge in charge, Justice Juliet May, ruled that it was injustice to keep him after his agreed date of release, December 29, 2016. It's not yet a huru for Mr. Ibori, as his expected extradition to Nigeria may yet open up another flurry of court cases waiting for him to step off the Nigerian-bound flight from London.
Let's talk a little bit more about this. How does this affect the political landscape in Nigeria first? A legal practitioner and lecturer at the university has indeed joined me on the show. He's Mr. Olumide Fusika. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the show at this time. What challenge do you think this has thrown to the Nigerian judiciary now that James Ibori is expected back in Nigeria?
Well, I don't know what is meant by a challenge to the Nigerian judiciary. He served his term where he was convicted. Of course, there was the issue of if the process in Nigeria had taken if his trial in Nigeria had taken the right course, would even have ended up being jailed over there. It was because...
So that in itself is a challenge for Nigeria?
Well, things are not... we can't deny the fact that things are not generally working well. And it's not been working well for some time in Nigeria, not only regarding the Nigerian judiciary. There's no aspects of our life that you look at that is functioning the way it should function. So the challenge is beyond it's part of it. It's not the only one. What you have is, if for instance you go to the hospital today, if you are not the one delivering the service, if you are the one to enjoy the service, you complain about the state of our hospitals and all that. So it's the same thing with the judiciary. People complain that things are not working well. Of course, no one is going to defend that our judiciary is functioning the way it should function. Cases last forever. There are things that we should address. Training of the personnel, both lawyers, those on the lawyers presenting the cases, and even the judges. We have problems of infrastructure. You go to court, sometimes there's no light. There is one problem or the other that the case would, for one reason or the other, the case will not go on. So these are problems that we are confronting, and I don't want us to be to reduce it to the Ibori matter. Because
but first we're going to have to talk about
Ibori,
that. 6 years he has spent in jail.
Yes.
Is that a punishment enough to serve as a deterrent for corrupt government officials?
Well, I don't know of any government official in Nigeria that has been sentenced to more than 6 years, even in our climb. So to serve 6 years over there is quite significant. The best we've had here is 1 year, 1 month, 3 months, and all that. So you can't. I don't think it is sufficient anyway, because if you compare that to someone who, for one reason, you had the case in Nigeria of someone who stole a handset from one governor or so, and he was sentenced to so many years. Was it life imprisonment or something like that? You know. So people see all this and get, discouraged. Yeah. But what he was charged for over there in Britain, their law function in the sense that the sentence for the offense is quite clear, and the judge could not have sentenced him beyond what he was entitled to sentence him for.
The moral question...
And they are not the victim. You need to understand that as such.
The moral question here, however, is that a convict is being welcomed home by his supporters by and large. What does this say about our people's readiness to embrace zero tolerance to corruption?
It doesn't say anything about our people's readiness to embrace zero tolerance for corruption as such. I think it signifies and underlines a much more fundamental problem with the country. I hope you don't have the impression that those welcoming him don't know what corruption is. I hope you don't have the impression that they are happy that...
Do you think they're happy?